Hi and welcome back to the Small Holding. A few weeks ago I published a video, 8 reasons not to keep chickens, but thanks to 2 lovely subscribers, this is the antidote. This video is 8 reasons why you should keep chickens. So join me. Hi, my name's Fiona and welcome to the Small Holding on this wonderful, glorious, sunny day. Today's video is all about the benefits of keeping chickens. Regular subscribers to the channel will know that I'm completely obsessed with these birds. So it must have been a little bit of a shock to see that I published a video a few weeks ago, 8 reasons not to keep chickens. But this video should give you a good balanced view. There's lots of reasons to keep them, and today I'm going to take you through the top 8. Now if you're going to keep chickens for the very first time, please do watch the other video, 8 reasons not to keep chickens, just so you know what you're letting yourself in for, and then you've got a full picture and a good balanced view. But let's get started on today's video. So here's reason number 1 to keep chickens. The number 1 reason that people give for keeping chickens are these wonderful things. They're eggs. They're delicious, they're nutritious. And this particular egg was laid by one of our Buff Orpingtons called Frankie. And the Buff Orpingtons are these golden chickens you can see behind me. And just in short, you'll see Cinnamon there with her chicks, which were hatched less than a week ago. They're absolutely gorgeous. They are so cute. We do have some other breeds here. These are laid by one of our copper black Morans, and it's this lovely dark chocolate brown colour. Now the size of this egg, and it is enormous, just compare it to Frankie's, that is unique to one particular chicken who's called Thunder. And I think, well, we did have Lightning, her sibling, behind me just a minute ago, but she seems to have wandered off. We have a third breed who lay a different colour again, and they are cream leg bars and they lay blue eggs. Now there are lots of different breeds which will lay dark chocolate brown and blue, so it's not just cream leg bars and copper black Morans. And a lot of people believe that these eggs taste better, they have a different composition to these eggs, but it's not because of the breed. Because these eggs are a bit more interesting, people are prepared to pay a little bit more for them, and that means actually the chickens are kept to a higher welfare standard. Any chicken that's fed green material, so that's grass as we do, we give them cabbages sometimes, we give them broccoli, all straight from the garden. They have much creamier and almost orange yolks. They are amazing. Now if you don't give them that green material, what you get is that pale yellow colour you'll see in barn raised chickens. Now if you do get a box of eggs that say free range on them, and when you crack them open you get pale yellow colour, my recommendation was buy a different brand next time. Take your money elsewhere, because clearly not all those chickens are actually getting out into the sunlight, into the open and grazing, eating green material. But they are all the same inside. It's how you feed the chickens that makes all the difference. Going hand in hand with egg production is knowing where your food comes from. We keep our chickens in our orchard, and one of the things they love to do when the apples are ripening is eat all of the windfalls, as you can tell. Frankie here is having a lot of fun with this particular apple. Now, commercial farmers are under a lot of pressure these days to produce more for less. So apples, grass, cabbages, cauliflowers, vegetables as a raw ingredient and raw foodstuff going to the chickens isn't necessarily what happens commercially. But as you can see, our chickens are absolutely loving the food that we give them. It makes them happy, and it makes me very happy seeing it. And I actually think the food tastes so much better for it too. Being able to give your chickens a higher welfare standard than commercial chickens is another great reason for keeping them. We chose from an early point to keep our chickens in a grassed enclosure. We wanted our chickens to graze. I filmed a series called Chicken Keeping for Beginners a while back, and programme 1 covered space and housing. There's a guided tour of our area in that film, but if you look far in the distance, there's a shelter, and that's the bottom end of their paddock. It then extends far round to the right hand side in the orchard where the apple and cherry trees are that you can see. The chickens graze for most of the day and have a wonderful time. We're very happy to see them so they can exhibit their natural behaviours, and we're happier with the standard of welfare that we give our little flock. The next reason to keep chickens is to produce good quality meat. Now, I fully appreciate that this won't appeal to everyone, but I would ask you to consider one thing. On average, if you have 2 eggs, one will be a hen and one will be a cockerel. In the commercial environment, cockerels do not have a purpose, they don't have a role. You don't need many of them at all, so the majority will be destroyed on hatch. In front of you, you can see one of our cockerels who has been grown to maturity. And that's because as smallholders, all of our chickens have a purpose. Our cockerels are grown to maturity, to full size, and they do provide table meat for us. But as you can see, he's with the hens at the moment. He's roaming, he is grazing, and he's actually eating apples at the moment. The next reason for keeping chickens is actually a reason to free range your chickens in the great outdoors, and that is just being in the fresh air and being outside. There's a physiological reason that we feel happier when we're outside, and that's because vitamin D is produced by our body, and that's proven to give us a boost. So free range your chickens, I promise you'll be happier. Trust is the next reason to keep chickens. Most people have heard the phrase fight or flight, and chickens fall very much into the flight category. There are birds of prey and there are birds that are preyed upon, and chickens are normally those that are preyed upon and won't trust readily. But once you've built it up, you get this fantastic feeling of accomplishment. Hand feeding these birds every day brings me so much joy, and I highly recommend it to any chicken keeper. The next reason to keep chickens is that it's possible to create your own closed-loop ecosystem by making use of every single part of the food cycle. So here I've got some windfall apples, which you can see the chickens are very happily eating. And of course, everybody knows what happens once the food has gone through their bodies. This process is a simple one, and I don't need a lot of specialist equipment or expensive equipment. The first 2 things I need are a shallow bucket and a child's gardening rake. And I know that sounds strange, but let me show you what I do. And this is how I use them. It's very simple. I take the child's gardening rake, hook it underneath the poop, drop it into the bucket. And once I've collected a good amount of poop in the bucket, I come down here to our compost bin area. And I think you can see one of our compost Daleks here behind me. And the third piece of equipment I need is this old water butt. Now, because it's got the old pipe hole in the lid, it does get some rainwater in there. So I have drilled some holes around the bottom so it can drain any excess water out. But simply, all I do, take the lid off, empty the poo in, pop the lid back on, and then I'll leave that to rot down for between 18 months and 2 years. And then that is used as a very, very nutritious fertiliser in our soil. So let's go and have a look at that. And we're here in the vegetable growing area, and this is one of the beds where we grow brassicas. I've got cauliflowers and I've got some which have actually gone over. Now before these cauliflowers were planted, I took quite a lot of that chicken poo which had rotted down for around 2 years and dug it into the soil, so I was adding a lot of nutrition. Now this cauliflower has actually gone over. It's flowered significantly, so I'm going to take it out and it's going to go back to the chickens. And this is where we bring the cauliflower to, and we actually hang it up for them. And what we've got is a fence post which is secured into a slab, and then we've added a hanging bracket at the top, you know, the kind that we use for hanging baskets for flowers. And then we just tie the cauliflowers in place. So we started off with feeding the apples to the chickens, the windfalls. They then produce a lot of poo that goes into a bucket, which then goes into the water butt for rotting down for 2 years. That gets dug into the soil, which then produces more food for the chickens. So we've created that closed loop ecosystem, and it's actually easy to do as a chicken keeper. Reason number 8 for keeping chickens is that they're so entertaining. Various places around their enclosure we've put things to keep them interested, and here you can see 3 chairs arranged in a group, and they just climb all over them, jump up, jump down, and sometimes they get themselves into right little pickles. We have 2 very comfortable garden armchairs just outside the enclosure, and we sit and have coffee in the morning and just watch the chickens. It's so relaxing. There's always something going on that's entertaining, and always something just to have a little laugh. Well, there you have it, 8 good reasons to keep chickens. As I said at the beginning of the video, this is the antidote to the previous video that I did, 8 reasons not to keep chickens. So please watch both together, because it gives you a balanced view of what you're going to get yourself into if you're going to keep chickens for the very first time. If you have liked this content, please take a moment to give me a thumbs up below. If you're not already a subscriber, come and join us and hit the notifications icon. You'll get to know of any new videos as soon as they become available. If you've got any comments or got any questions for me, leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you've got any ideas for videos, anything that you want to see that we haven't filmed yet, leave those in the comments too, and I'll do my best to get those filmed for you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.